All right, guys, welcome back to TCI Fridays, episode number
8
or 9, depending. Nice. Depending on where we go. Welcome back to TCI Fridays, sponsored by the Coaching Initiative. Thank you very much for listening. We're really enjoying doing these, and we're going to get to 20 as our first goal. 20 is our first goal, so we're going to get there, and then to 200.
Oh, easy.
Yeah,
Easy,
man.
Crazy amount of topics in us.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we can.
But
just
today's topic
is
going to be photoshoot lessons, the photoshoot process, our experience, our ethos around photoshoots, from a personal perspective and a coaching perspective. For context, by the time this is released, I will have carried the one. Potentially started my prep. Will I have started my prep?
I think you'll be in pre-prep.
I'll be in pre-prep. Pre-prep's the thing, by the way. I'll be... Didn't do that in the first one. Dove head first into
Never even heard of
an aggressive deficit. But I will be doing a prep this year, which will be prep number 4, which is crazy, but I fucking love it.
Yeah, and every time you do it, it's a whole nother package, right?
It is. I was speaking to a client about this the other day. Because she didn't understand that the first time someone said, "Oh yeah, every time you do a prep will be different," and then it was going through it that she realised what that meant.
Yeah, for sure.
So true.
Yeah, it is good though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is good. So today we're going to talk about initial preps, like how we did them the first time round, our thought processes, how they've evolved, how they continue to evolve, and what we look for now. And kind of how we take somebody through the first time versus the third time, and that's not necessarily in the process, but probably in the expectation of what's going to happen.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, it's and I think that was the first thing we discussed in the possibility of doing a photoshoot prep podcast. Easy for me to say. Was the realities of treating it like it's the be all and end all, or recognizing that it's just one part in a bigger journey.
Yeah, for sure.
So where do we start with
this? I
was
going to say, my first thing that I want to suppose to talk around is why you would do a shoot, right? Versus why people think you should do a shoot.
Is this confidence shoot, or is this...
That's only for him. It's only for Jim with him. For me, I think that the reasons for somebody to do a photo shoot prep aren't just so you can, if your reasoning is so that you can have some nice photos, that's the wrong reasoning. But it's a facilitator, it's a vehicle. We've always said this, right? It's a vehicle that facilitates a period of challenge, right? And a period of putting yourself in front, right? Because when you do it, and you're going to do it proper, right? Nothing gets in the way, nothing gets in the way of it. And we've got some great tales from preps that we will no doubt dive into in this episode, and I'm sure everybody's got them. But that's what it is for me. I think it's getting further and further away from this idea of you just do it for the photos or you just do it for the rig, right? You're doing it because you recognize what it's going to give you from a mental standpoint, a psychological standpoint, a physical standpoint. Is still really important and still awesome, and I think it's such a cool thing. But I also understand how somebody could see it from the outside and go, "You're just lean." I don't understand why you would do that to yourself.
Yeah.
So that would be the first thing I wanted to clear up.
I would definitely agree. The perspective or the perception of photo shoots outside of the physique world or coaching world compared to in it as well. Photo shoots are very much perceived as an ego and vanity driven thing.
Yes.
Because understandably, when someone's, putting regular photos online of them stark bollock naked, obviously someone's going to go, that person's a prick. When you don't know that person.
No.
But obviously on the inside, it's so funny how that perspective shifts, like in our industry, how normal it is to put your body online.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But absolutely, the photos are just, it's like have you run a race? You've run, apart from your potato race.
Have I run some? Bloody won some, mate.
Potato race. But have you done like a 10K or something? You like something you get a medal for?
No.
Really? Have you not?
No.
Oh, right. I'll get on that.
Yeah. That's my target.
But obviously...
Well, I'm not going to Jack for coaching. He make me run 10K.
It's prerequisite.
Yeah.
But you run like a 10K or whatever, and you get like a cheap little medal, manufactured medal, and you hang it up and you never fucking look at it again.
Yeah.
Right. And photo shoots can be very similar to that, where it's like you get the photos, you never look at them again, and it all hangs up on what does it represent to you. Right? What does it represent to you?
Totally.
This period of locking in, this period of being punished by a coach, which is so wild. Like that's not a thing.
Yeah.
But it is a thing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But why I did my first prep because and we talked about this in a previous podcast, got into training through like bodybuilding culture and hypertrophy and stuff. And I think I just realized in a given moment that I'd always existed here on this spectrum of like kind of lean, kind of gaining, kind of lean, and never expanded beyond that, never pushed myself.
Never went to outside of that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think I just realized that at some point. So when the opportunity presented itself, and there was a coach that I trusted that put out like a photo shoot challenge almost.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can afford it. I can commit to it. Why would I not push myself further? And it was 12 weeks. My first prep was a 12-week group shoot prep.
Yeah.
And I got fucking shredded.
He was shreddy.
Which is so funny because nowadays it would take me longer than 12 weeks to get shredded. So I clearly exist at a slightly high, even though I'm more experienced and I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So he's got like a 27-week prep for this. No,
27 months.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Okay, cool. I definitely want to delve into some lessons of that because I know the bits from that would be really cool. How old were you?
So that was 2018. So what's that? Jesus, 8 years ago. 23.
Wow. So I think mine was 2016. Was like, or 2017 probably. Okay, cool. My first like attempt at a prep, I was living in Leeds, and my my housemate Wiley, he was going to compete in his first bodybuilding show, and my girlfriend at the time, she went to Thailand for 6 months, right? So, 6 weeks. So I had like, I was like, right, well, I'm gonna go alongside him. I didn't know what I was doing, right? And I can't remember it verbatim. I've actually tried to look through my FitnessPal once to try and find it, but I'm pretty confident this is what I was doing. 300 to 400 grams of protein, right?
Nice.
50 grams of carbs.
Were you eating the same food as him?
Same-ish, yeah. But just a little bit less.
Because I could see him pushing 300 grams.
Yeah, yeah. We were both going the same like approach, basically. 50 grams of carbs, 50 grams of fat, right?
So good.
And then I didn't like go down into that. I just started at that.
Nice.
And then I went. Obviously, we were having like Sunday night cheat meals. Like I was having Sunday night cheat meals that would debilitate me, you know. And then cardio.
Was that to stoke the metabolism?
Yeah, well, I figured I downregulated the metabolism enough through the week, so a quick spike of that, and it should be good to go. And then cardio-wise, I just started doing it. And again, didn't titrate it up or make a sensible decision. I just was getting up at like 4:30 a.m., going to the gym, walking on a treadmill on an incline. Because I was opening the gym, so I'd just get there before everybody, do it. And then that was that.
So good, man.
And I lost all the muscle tissue that I didn't have.
That much protein.
It was actually incredible. So that was my first one.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's solid. I can't remember my food exactly, but I mean, my food was done. So I was coached by Ollie Carson.
Yeah.
And great coach at the time, works at Grenade Fit, I think, Jay Alderson's gym.
Okay.
And I think he'd done Mac Nutrition. So, like, Ed screwed on.
Yeah,
Nutrition was absolutely sound. My adherence to said nutrition was not absolutely sound.
Bit ropey.
But it's amazing how the body can change when you just stop eating like a dickhead and you're working 2 gym shifts and teaching numerous classes and putting weights away basically the entire day.
Yeah.
So most days I was racking like 18 to 20,000 steps without even really trying.
Yeah.
And I basically just stopped eating lots of shit food.
Yeah.
And my weight just plummeted. So because I was a little bit more accountable to Wally, like I retained a fair amount of tissue, which was all good. I didn't have tons to begin with, to be fair, which is wild to say I was hypertrophy training for so long. And I was just, anytime my steps went above the target, I was like, right, well, I can clearly have more food. So I just eating chocolates in the staff room and all sorts of stuff. And my weight did keep dropping, right? And it was this terrible case of the evidence showed me I could get away with it.
Do it. Yeah,
so I just kept doing it. It was insane.
This should probably help it.
Yeah, stoking the metabolism, Ant said. So that was my first prep. It was basically, it was really useful in a way. I never really thought about it, but it was really useful in a way to remind myself how much a client will not tell the coach.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Ollie didn't know any of this, obviously. Why would I tell my coach? My weight's dropping.
Yeah.
Yep, stick to the plan.
Yeah, nailing it. I'm actually doing too much. I think I need a refeed. Okay, so, God, we could just talk about this for hours. Lessons from your first prep that you took into your second.
Lessons from my first prep is, if you're heading in a general direction, it's amazing the quality of the result you can achieve by being somewhat consistent.
Yeah.
And just setting your mind to a goal and using some form of data to drive it. I think I'd have adhered more should my weight not have responded the way it did. But because I was still getting leaner, obviously my adherence was skewed. So that was one big lesson. Actually, if you just fucking commit to something and go in a general direction, it's amazing how far you can go. Compared to the second prep, the prep we did together, Athol massive.
Athol skinny by the end.
Yeah. The biggest difference for me was prep 1 was if it fits your macros.
Yeah.
Prep 2 was basically a self-regulated meal plan.
Yeah.
And I always had this perception that if it fits your macros was a flexible approach, so you would have a better relationship doing that.
Yeah. And
a meal plan is rigid, so you'll have a worse relationship doing that. I had a better relationship with food in prep 2 than prep 1.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest lesson for me.
Yeah. Okay. Most ridiculous thing you did on the first prep.
Is this a loaded question? Have I told you something?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I was just I'm thinking about like stuff that I did that I laugh at now.
There was one time where I was caught short with protein powder, so I mixed tuna into my bowl of oats.
Tuna and oats. It's like Hall and Oats, but
I'd literally just locked in on
must hit this number.
This is protein. Yeah. This is carbs. Put them together because I can't be arsed eating them separate.
There you go. It worked.
Yeah.
Did the job.
It did, and then I had a bunch of chocolates later.
Right, I've had my tuna and oats. Yeah. A couple of Maltesers, I think.
It's like the morning was super adherent, and then it gets like 5 p.m. or like 10 p.m. closing the gym, and there's chocolates in the staff room, and I'm like, every time I walk past.
Yeah, a couple of celebrations.
So bad. What about you?
So that first like attempt at a diet was just silly, like obviously. But it did show me, and I've still got that photo, which I love looking at sometimes because I remember getting Lee to take a photo. I was like, "Oh, mate, can you take a quick photo for me? I just want to see where I'm at." And I remember taking my shirt off and him going, "Oh, you're looking good, mate. You're looking lean." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm lean." And now when I look at it, I'm like, "Oh my God, there's more meat on this," like ridiculous. So I think it really taught me that I didn't have any muscle tissue. The second, so I don't know if that was like my first prep, but the first like photo shoot thing that I did was when I was in Cambridge, and I got Jim to take the photos, and I got coached, and I'd really interested to talk to him about it actually, because he's a really clever guy and he's really, he's continued to progress through coaching as well. So I'm sure he would look at it different now as what we did then. But I was a bit of a like revenge body-ish kind of approach. But But that wasn't the only thing that fueled it. It was a part of it that fueled it. It was like, I'd gone through a breakup and I wanted to, do something for myself, but I was talking about it in my head the wrong way. Do you know what I mean? So you can definitely do that and put yourself in front and, be really respectful to yourself and that be the result. But I was very young in my head at the time, so I wasn't doing it like that. So and that was, I think it was like 12 weeks or something like that. And I didn't get shredded. I was the leanest I'd ever been.
Yeah.
But I was nowhere near what I was in my second prep. Nowhere near. And I was like in sort of strength sports at the time. So I was really happy with the look and, it was really cool. I remember getting like the spray tan and stuff and like a light spray tan. Oh my God, like this is amazing. Best part about doing a prep by far,
getting
the spray tan.
I just hated the hair removal process.
That was savage. Nightmare. That was savage. But I think one of the most ridiculous things or silly things that I did was that I was sticking to the plan, but there was 2 times. One time I went to a stag do in Nottingham, right? So we knew that was happening, and I kind of stayed on, but I was like, well, I'm drinking gin and tonics. That's fine. There's lime in this. It's fine. Like, so I wasn't like going crazy, but then the food the next day was really hard to manage. And then I remember driving home from like a night out. I don't know why I had another night out and just eating a whole rotisserie chicken in the car. I just like pulled into a lay-by and just ate an entire rotisserie chicken.
You do that now.
Yeah, but I'm not prepping. But like when that hunger kicks, so you're like, and then I like got back on the plan, and then and the shoot was booked. Let's say it was like a Friday or a Saturday, or whatever. I got a bit ill on the Wednesday. So when you get ill and you get inflamed, it just completely masks. And I was like, oh my God. And then I think it was the Thursday I got home. I was living with mum and dad at the time. I was so tired and I was so hungry and mum had made like this. It was like it was cold. Mum had made this like casserole and mashed potato thing for her and dad. And I just walked in and smashed so much.
So good.
Didn't get a plate, didn't even sit down, just grabbed a spoon, took the lids off and was just eating, like taking a mouthful of mashed potato and then putting the casserole on top of it. I was just like stood there like a madman. And it's like, you'd think I'd never eaten.
Oh, God.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and it was like uncontrollable, insatiable hunger, and it wasn't real, but it was amazing how like, that's what my head was telling me.
Yeah.
So that was like stupid things that I did, but it taught me a lot. Like they definitely taught me that I could diet, that I could do it. I could get to look like I had muscles.
It's just it's a controlled suffering, really, isn't it? It's funny how your perspective of food changes, and I think experience with this brings more awareness over time. The first prep, I remember having a full-blown argument with my mum, like, because I'd cooked some food and weighed it all out and stuff, and she walked past the counter and picked up a piece of chicken and ate it, and I fucking lost my shit because I was like, that is the make or break for me.
Yeah.
I can't believe you've done that. I've just weighed out all my food. Ignoring the fact that later on in the day I was going to scran a few chocolates. Like, it's just wild, your perspective of what you're controlling and your relationship with food, etc. So, I completely agree with that. And it's funny how that then changes from prep 2 to prep 3, where you feel it still. It's not like it, because it's a physiological thing as much as psychological, right? Like, body fat's low, leptin's low. So you are insatiable, but you're just aware that you were going to be insatiable. So you're like, it's fine. Like, hunger's not going to kill me.
So, and you learn to lean into it. You learn to lean into that and see that as the challenge. So like training, when you're training and you're waiting until it's hard and then you're like, right, here we go. Right, now we can get after it.
Yeah.
And it's like that in dieting. Like, it shouldn't be severely challenging the entire time, but your resolve is going to get tested at the end, and that's where the fun bit comes, because like, I'm hungry. Yeah, good. I'm hungry. Like, I'm gonna stay hungry.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fall to this. And that I definitely noticed that the second time doing it, when we were doing it at the same time, and Joe was coaching me. I remember walking home, and I was about was when we were at Athol, but I was like 5 minutes from Athol. My legs started shaking. Like I just timed things wrong, and my blood sugar had started dropping out, and my legs were literally. I was like, shh. I was like, what is this? And I wasn't like just starting, but I wasn't at the end either. I was like, oh my God. But I just knew, I was like, you just need to get home and eat. That's all you need to do. So that just becomes the thing that you do.
Yeah.
You know, I got home, I had the meal that I'd prepared, and I was fine, you know, and that was that. So it's funny how you learn to kind of lean into that hunger, and you know, some days are really hard and some days are not. And it shouldn't, like I say, it shouldn't be this thing of, oh my God, this is impossibly difficult. It shouldn't be that. But especially towards the end, like it should be like, okay, feeling this now. The worst thing that happens in prep, I realize I'm just going like this, but it's fine. The worst thing for me, or two worst things that happen in prep, you're training.
It's the fucking worst.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And this is something that I know we both talk about to clients when they start, is you talk about, you really start forecasting for people. So you give them the expectation of, all right, you've set this date. About 4 to 6 weeks before that, your training is going to fall off an edge, right? You're not going to enjoy it anymore. And it's going to be really hard for you to deal with, because that's the thing you love doing. You're not going to get pumps, right? Unless we're doing refeeds. You're not going to feel very strong unless, you know, we just happen to have a good run. These things are all going to happen. And if they don't happen, great, brilliant. But if they do happen, at least you've let them know it's going to happen, because it does vary person to person and movement to movement and all that stuff. So that's one of the worst things that happen, is that you just lose this drive to train, and it just becomes a slog. You actually end up looking forward to cardio more when you do weight training. And
True.
because it's just like, at least I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, at least I can do that with some sort of, you know, performance.
If not improved performance, right? Because your aerobic capacity is getting better as
so
you get
much
leaner
better.
and more, yeah. Like you start the Stairmaster at like a 6 and you're fucking gassed.
Yeah.
And you finish prep at like a 12, 13 and you're fucking storming the entire
absolutely
time.
loving life. Yeah, it's unreal. So that's a really hard thing to deal with. And you know, we can talk about that a little bit later as well. But the other thing was something about what something you brought up on a previous episode when we were talking about why we got into training and what led it into training.
Yeah. Wait, what did I say?
So you were saying on the last one about it does happen for guys and girls, but mostly for lads, they get into the gym to get bigger.
Yeah, and that becomes your identity, right? So you start getting bigger. Suddenly you go from a schmedium to a medium to a to a large. Schmedium to a large.
Sorry, we got this in schmedium.
And it's great. You're filling large t-shirts and you're like, this is fucking sick. And then you're like, well, I'm big, I'm strong, I'm going to do a prep and show off my physique. Yeah, like it's everything that I need it to be. And then you start prep and suddenly a large isn't being filled anymore.
Yeah.
And there's an interesting transition point where it's like, well, you either have to accept wearing oversized clothes or you go back to medium, which is such a mental battle to step back into, you know, not just a clothing size, but essentially a previous identity.
Yeah.
Because you've put your confidence in being the person that fills t-shirts, etc. So
Absolutely.
It's such an interesting representation of how when people talk about how your mindset transforms, it doesn't really, it's essentially hanging on to you having some tissue.
Yeah.
The same way we see that, you know, when people can't train, they lose a sense of purpose and identity kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't distribute your self-worth into various things, and I know we kind of did that a little bit with Prep 2 together. We were doing other things. We were skateboarding a bit and doing some basketball and all these other little components that, yes, were activity to support the prep, but I think it was to also diversify just a little bit.
Totally. And because at the end, especially if you're working in the gym you're training in and doing your cardio in, you're spending loads of time there all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And it sort of changes the relationship with your workplace. So if you can get activity elsewhere, it does make a big difference. Yeah. And like we pulled all that stuff out right at the very end because you don't want to jeopardize anything at that point.
Yeah, you're not going to be fucking dunking basketballs 2 days out.
Oh, no. What's it?
Flying through,
giving it Space Jam, you know. So yeah, all of those things considered. But yeah, I remember being in that that transitional period of, I'd started my prep at 84 and I finished it at 72. So 12 kilos. And probably when I was about 6 kilos, 7 kilos down, I'm definitely leaner, but if you train or if you do cardio, when you do cardio, you don't look lean afterwards.
Yeah.
You look like you've just been sweating. So you actually look a little bit inflamed, right? So it's not a good time to like take progress photos and stuff. Same with if you train with big intensity and lots of volume, you'll be puffy and inflamed. So you miss the point, right? You when you lift weights, you pump and then it drops off, right? As the session goes on for most people. Blah, blah, blah. When you hit that point, you just have to accept the plan. Yeah, and you have to accept sticking to that plan because it's so easy to go, I feel flat, right?
I feel flat, so I'm gonna. And then you just stay, and you see clients make that mistake, right? Like then you just never get lean. So you're always in that middle territory where you're not big, but you're also not lean.
Yeah,
that's the worst place to stay.
Totally.
That's when you got to double down.
Yeah, and if you are tentative in your head, you need to be coached for this. That's why I went to Joe,
and that's why, like in prep 2, I tried to coach myself, and then towards the end, I was basically having check-ins with you.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because it just becomes a thing of I'm not sure what to do here.
I don't know if giving myself a refeed at this moment is me being soft on myself, or am I being too harsh on myself by questioning whether I should put a refeed?
Exactly. I think you can coach yourself, but it takes you need the experience of being coached first.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to Duffy, I was like, I feel really flat, and him just going, yeah, good. That's what you should feel. That's where you should be.
Now let's take out that avocado.
Yeah. and that's exactly it, right? That's where you want to be. You want to be in that position where, because you've got to be able to forecast it and look at where you're actually going, and be like, cool. Doesn't really matter what happens here as such, because this is where I'm going.
Yeah.
So if I'm feeling a bit shitty here, good, because that's probably what I need to get down into that level, to dig down into that next bit and to go somewhere I've not been. That's probably what I need to do. And I don't think I had I don't think I refeed the whole. Yeah, I don't think I did one the whole prep. I don't think maybe. No, I don't think I did. Because I just didn't need it,
Yeah.
And that's the thing as well. It's like all these things that you hear about, refeeds and carb cycling and all that stuff, just tools, but don't use them if you don't need them.
Yeah.
Right? I've given people refeeds where it's like, this person needs this now, and it has had a really positive effect. I've definitely also, when I was younger, given people refeeds where they've said things a certain way and I've gone, oh God, I need to refeed this person because I'm going to break their metabolism. Whereas the reality is like, but you get better at that. You get better at going, like you said, it's controlled suffering, and ultimately it's a choice, right?
It's a choice.
You're choosing to do it. And if you are going to go on prep, don't do that thing where you go, oh no, I can't have that. You can totally have that. You're just choosing not to do that right at this moment.
Yeah, now I'm all right.
Yeah.
You don't have to say, now I'm all right.
And don't do that thing also where you sit with your Tupperware with other people eating and going, oh, look at all you lot eating and I'm just here with my Tupperware. Another choice that you're choosing to make.
1,000%.
Right.
And don't do that thing. Where you just isolate yourself for 16 weeks.
Yeah, don't do that.
And then get to the end of it and go, that was fucking awful. Go out still. Like me and Luz would go to Specialty still for coffee basically every single weekend on prep 3. And it was just like, we just changed the intent a little bit. It wasn't about calorie consumption. It was about quality time and whatever else, right? Like you just change the intention of stuff.
I think that's such a big thing because it's always that stuff of, I always use the same example of, if I'm going to a pub to eat food, I'm not going for the food.
Yeah.
Right. Unless it's an amazing pub, I'm probably just going for the social. So you can make a really easy choice, right? It's simple. You just choose the thing that's most in line with what you would normally eat and all that, right?
Yep.
If I'm going to a 5-star restaurant with the tasting menu, I'm not asking for stuff on the side. I'm like, give it to me however the chef recommends because I want to experience this.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to book that in the middle of a prep.
Yeah.
you know,
Because
that's a silly thing to do.
Preps aren't a year long. Like you
No.
could just go, all right, I'm prepping until July. So why don't we go to that restaurant in August?
Yeah.
And it's really not that hard to manage. So
Totally.
I think that's the nice thing about it is like once you've got these guidelines, you can then go, actually, a lot of people can handle a prep. And it's about this ability to see the potential in someone, not to go, anyone can do a prep because you can shoot at any stage. Like the reality is that if someone wants to push themselves and fulfill their potential and, you know, do these things without just spending a fortune to have a shoot, like you could book a much cheaper shoot somewhere else, right? You'd have to spend fucking 550 quid with one of the best fitness photographers in the UK to then just feel confident you could do that in your own town. Like there's photographers that exist. But if you want to fulfill your potential and push yourself to those kind of territories, then I think that's vital. Two things I want to say before I forget. One is the lesson from my prep 3 was don't then overcommit to the gaining phase thinking you'll be way bigger in the prep, because I started my 3rd prep at 104 and that was still dieted down to 81.
Yeah, well, we were both pushing that then, weren't we?
So bad.
I think I hit 87 at one point,
So
which at
bad.
5.7 is.
That was
I felt heavy.
Big, like 5-6 months of prep just to get back to being lean.
Yeah. Tell
Not
you what,
worth
though,
it.
I was absolutely smashing that medium.
Medium's
Choking the supply off to my arms.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was
mental.
big. And it's so funny when you do that, though, because everybody who sees you go, well, you put some size on it, and you're like, I have. It's all fat, but tell you what, got some leverages on me right now.
Definitely. But I wasn't even strong, I was just fat. I wasn't even strong, which is the worst combination.
I was pressing 50s, I was loving life.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't. So don't do that. Don't push your gaining phase too far. The second thing I wanted to say is I appreciate we're talking about our experience in preps. And if you then look for evidence, you might look at Ant's page and go, he's not done a fucking prep, the liar.
I bloody did.
It goes back to this point about it not being about the photos, and never really felt the need to post those for any form of validation, because the process, it was kind of the process for you that you wanted.
Yeah, massively. I think there was a lot of stuff happening at that point where I was like, I don't feel the need to put these anywhere. And I had like different views on certain things at that point as well. So I didn't want to, it didn't align with what I wanted to do. I actually went through them the other day briefly because I was doing like a carousel post.
They're going to make an appearance
at some point. Yeah, because I was going to do like my journey almost through the industry. But I forgot to get a photo today, so I can't do that now. So I'll do it later. But and that was a big part of it. That was a big part of it. But at that point, I had a full diary of clients pretty much. I had online, I was relatively busy online, not super busy, and we were running education. So I don't really I don't feel the need to do anything with these. Obviously I showed you and I showed like my family and stuff because I was like, look at this thing I've done. I'm really, really proud of it. And there was something that Jack said. I know exactly where we were when you said it as well, because we were walking back from town past the Vic Centre in Nottingham, back home. And he said, we were talking about preps and shoots. And he said, you just want to get to the day and stand there and be happy with the effort that you've put in, right? You just want to be able to stand there and say that you're pleased with what you've done. And I've said that to every single prep client since.
No, I say it to every client.
Right, and said, all I want for you, you've got to be able to stand there and say that there was nothing else you were willing to do, right? Because there's always more you can do.
Yeah.
Right? You can do more cardio. You can eat less calories, right? You can take more gear if that's what you do. We don't, and our clients don't either, right? But you can do all of those things, but what will you do, right? What are you willing to do? And I took those photos and I was really happy. And I was just like, I'm so happy with everything that I've done to this point. Like everything I'm willing to do, I've done. I don't need anything more from this.
And the funny rule that follows that is that it will always be true, right? Because whether someone's fucking nailed everything or they've held themselves back, it's still true. You did everything you were willing to do.
Yep.
So the person that held themselves back, they were not willing to push themselves further. and the person that nailed everything, they were willing to push themselves further. But both cases are still true.
Yeah.
So the idea behind getting to the end and recognizing that your efforts were just based on what you were willing to do, and an acceptance of that is the importance of accepting it is because it's always going to be true anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. And those photos. It's funny as well how your perspective shifts, because I remember looking at them thinking, I'm not that lean. I'm not that lean. And then you look back at it and you go, oh my god, yeah, I was like,
so fucking lean. Your legs were in like fucking 8 weeks out.
Yeah, it was mad, wasn't it?
So annoying.
I also found out that apparently I still no fat on my hamstrings at all, so I can't wait for them to come into fashion.
So annoying.
And then I'm right up there. But it is one of those things where I was so happy with it. I was like, I don't feel like I need to do anything with this. It's not to say that I never will. I'll definitely do another shoot again, and I think it's such a nice comparison thing and all that stuff. But we just encourage people, if there was anything I would say, if you're thinking about doing it, just do it.
Yeah.
Just honestly, just do it, right? And you can reach out to us for coaching for it. You can reach out to somebody else for coaching for it. Just do it, because it's such a cool thing to be able to look back on, and not pour all your identity and go, oh God, remember when I looked like this? Because I'd never look at that and go, oh, remember when I looked like that? I look at it and go, oh wow, that's a really cool part of my life. Like, we were living together. It was lockdown like 3.
Yeah.
So we got access to the gym.
2021.
We were like we were training 5 days a week, which we wouldn't do now. We were like doing cardio all the time, and
arms and shoulders
on a Saturday. I still remember the session. I know exactly what the session was. We used to put it off as well. We used to get there and sit for an hour because we didn't have anything else that we needed to do. And obviously we were just chilling. We were watching Marvel all the time and Lord of the Rings and stuff. And, it was just a fun time, and we also got like Inside Out shredded.
Yeah, and then went to Cornwall and ate Cornish
so
pasties the size of your head.
Yeah.
Etherington, shout out Etherington's in Cornwall.
Etherington's.
And we were so bloated that entire holiday.
God, it's so bad. It's so funny, like trying so hard to like not indulge and gorge, and then it just went. And yeah, we just smashed a whole bag of, a whole box, a box each of Ritz crackers. Do you remember that?
Yeah, just sat there playing games and they were on the table.
And and there was that cheese selection.
I can't not think of and I think this goes into like my takeaway would be understand that physiologically that's a very normal response to have.
Yeah.
Psychologically, it's a very normal response to have when you've deprived yourself of food for months and months and months for your body to go, there's food on that fucking table and I want it.
Yeah.
So don't be panicking going, oh, I've got an eating disorder because I've got food focus. Of course you have food focus because you've just starved yourself for fucking months and months.
Yeah.
That's not a terrible relationship with food. That's very normal. How you manage that is speak to your coach about it. Keep reminding yourself it's not going to be taken away from you. You're fine. And if you overindulge, let it go and just keep moving forward with it. That opened my eyes when, because obviously gym with him, I can't not say gym with him.
Yeah, I know you have to use his full handle, don't you?
Gym with him coached me for Prep 3.
Yes.
And like in the reverse, or maybe it was just before, he gave me an insight into how he reverses.
I remember
and he
this.
just yields to the rebound.
Yeah.
And he's like, and that changed my perspective on it, where it's like, it's not the healthiest thing to do, but that's a person that has done this long enough to understand the physiological ramifications of it, to go, actually, me gaining quite a bit of body fat is probably not the worst thing in the world for me at that moment in time. And then I just recomp the rest of the year. So it's like, I just gain a shit ton of weight, I feed into it, and then I just recomp the rest of the year. And I was like,
but if you looked at it on average rather than in terms of like actuals, it would look like a normal amount of weight regain. Right? And we're not saying that's what you should do, because
it's not. I don't go to my clients, right? We're going to go into rebound phase. Prepare for 18 kilos of
that stuff you've been buying and not eating. Don't do that. If you're doing that, that's a red flag.
No cupboards.
Yeah, exactly. If you're doing that, if you're buying stuff and putting it in a box and say you're going to eat that when you're done, just don't do it. Just don't do the prep. It's not worth it.
True.
It's not worth it in our opinion. It's not worth it. It's weight regain is something that is really healthy, completely normal, completely natural. The amount of weight regain is completely specific to you and blah, blah, blah. And your way out will be your way out. The first time I got lean, I went to Vegas 5 days afterwards or 3 days afterwards or something like that. And I stayed lean for probably a day and a half. And then I just ate everything because you have, and I had a worse relationship with it. But if you've got reservations about your relationship with food beforehand, then explore that. Explore it. Because the great thing is, right? It's an amazing concept. This is revolutionary, right? But if you choose to do a prep and then you think, actually, you know what, this is a really bad thing. I'm doing all these terrible relationship with food things. You can stop.
What?
Right? You can go, I'm not going to do this because the ramifications of me going through with this one physical thing is going to massively fuck me up psychologically, physiologically. It's really going to mess me up. So you don't have to do it. But just because you choose to stop it then doesn't mean that you then can't do it again later in life, because your mindset around stuff changes.
Yeah.
Your relationship with stuff absolutely changes. Your beliefs around things change. So it's fine to make a decision and then change that decision. But the worst thing you can do is just not make a decision.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you're just going to stay exactly where you are. But yeah, I agree. You can do some impressive eating.
It's incredible, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, you really can.
Yeah.
And there's loads of reasons as to why it happens. But yeah, it's probably not an eating disorder. It's probably just your body wanting to gain a little bit of weight back, and then you'll probably settle down.
Exactly. And ironically, the more you fight that, the more you create this push and pull. Then there's guilt and secret eating, which is fucking way worse, by the way, than an overeating period.
Yeah.
Is secret overeating periods because you're like, well, I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, because then you're really layering on shame and guilt, like you say, and that's a really sketchy relationship with food now.
Wild.
Yeah. If you're locking your door to eat chocolate bars, if you're doing that, right? Because you're worried about what other people are going to think. That's a projection of an internal belief.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's thingy.
Madness.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're wrapping up.
We are. We could talk about preps forever.
We could. And photoshoot preps are approved by TCI.
We approve of photoshoot preps because they're really cool. They're really fun to do.
They are really cool, and they're really fun to do. And you learn some fascinating things about the body and things like thermoregulation that you never really think about.
Yeah, that's so true. Actually, you can't believe that you're cold in the summertime.
Yeah,
you cannot believe it.
Oh, how cold Cornish waters are.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
God, yeah, I do.
That beach.
That was savage.
Would not recommend.
And that was the summer.
Yeah.
But that was like, oh my God, yeah, I've got no body fat here.
Yeah, ridiculously cold. So you learn a lot about your body, you learn a lot about your mind, your ability to push. And we would just recommend just get it overseen by someone. So someone that you trust.
Yeah, totally. And it does make you can relate to clients. It doesn't mean that all your clients need to do photoshoot preps, but when your clients talk about their struggle with food potentially, it doesn't mean you go, and I know you guys wouldn't think this, but it doesn't mean you go, oh, well, I've been on really low calories, so you're not, perspective wise, you're not actually that hungry. It makes you understand what their signals might feel like.
Yeah.
Right. Because if it is an insatiable hunger and it's a diversity of that hormone release, for example, it does feel different for people.
Yeah.
So you can empathize in that way and have an understanding and then come to a conclusion of what you're going to do. So I think they're really great to do. And they're not seen in the same way, but I'm sure people who are like professional sports people don't look back at them in their absolute prime and go, God, I wish I could still do that. Right. But just because you achieve it, it doesn't mean you have to stay like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember who this was about, but I was writing up someone's result. Some results aren't about maintaining, they're about achieving. It's just about achieving and doing it and saying, look what I did, look what I achieved. That's really cool. Now I'm really ready to not do that and enjoy the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So just do it.
I love that.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Do it.
Delightful. I wondered which do it we were going to go for.
Yeah, I kind of moved.
I went to Sheila Booth. Okay, thank you for listening.
Small
Small coaching business shout out. I wondered if we've, because I can't remember from episode 1 because it was so long ago, have we shouted out the Irvings yet?
Oh, if we haven't,
I know, that's now what I'm conflicted about. So,
well, they can have 2.
we'll give them another shout out because we're going up there soon, and I think they deserve to. So we're going to shout out the team at Irving's Performance in Hamilton.
Irving's Peak Performance.
Irving's Peak Performance in Hamilton, near Glasgow. If you are in Scotland or you're passing through Scotland, make sure you drop by because it is a phenomenal gym that they've built there, but more importantly, it's a phenomenal culture.
Yeah.
Ross, we're very close with Ross and Nikki. They are our Scottish fam. And they regularly invite us up to educate their team because they live and breathe this value of education. They don't just say it.
Yeah.
They actually do it.
They actually do it.
Yeah, constantly, which is wicked. And they train really fucking hard as well, which I love. I love that part of it. It's not like, oh yeah, we love education, and then they're lifting like some pink dumbbells. They're a fucking strong team.
Really strong.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very, very cool. So massive shout out to those guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Irving's Peak Performance on Instagram, Ross Irving or Nikki Irving.
Yeah. Shout out Louise as well.
Shout out Louise
Because
Provan.
She's part of that team.
Because
we always take our shoes off and think about Louise.
A phenomenal part of that team. She asked us if a shoeless podcast was the way to go, and we said yes.
Absolutely. So take yours off for your podcast, Lou. Come on.
And don't let her intimidate you. She's actually really lovely. But yeah.
Yeah, shout out to those guys.
So
awesome team.
Soon.
And yeah, you should go and check out their gym. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to contact us, you can. The Coaching Initiative on Instagram, Jack A Coaching on Instagram, Anthony Barnes Coaching on Instagram, or you can send us an email if you want us to discuss topics that you're interested in, or you just want to send us some positive feedback. We have a very open door to positive feedback, very much a closed door on negative feedback. So if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it. info@thecoachinginitiative.net, and we will catch you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.